of house cleaning, maybe one piece of house cleaning before we get started here. And that's the fact that we are not able to broadcast live on Facebook for the time being. It does seem that what has happened is that we have to do some recalibration and things like that to get live stream going again on YouTube. Did I say Facebook? Anyway, we're talking about YouTube, and we were preparing to do this and found out that live streaming from the app that I'm using, the Prism Live Studio app, is not possible anymore, and I would have to go and get settings, which means I'd have to go get a stream key and all that. Key changes from time to time. So until I can figure out how to get this thing to work, I guess from this particular app, in terms of live broadcasting, it is only going to be Periscope and Twitter. However, it is my intention to get this on YouTube and Facebook Live because I do have a copy of this that will be downloaded onto my device at the end of this. Hope all is well with all of you. I am starting to hate humanity again. I haven't had a great relationship with with humanity, and I'm not having a great relationship with my age. I will be 64, 65 in about good 6 or 7 months. And when you get to that point, you realize that you have restrictions. The fact that as I am trying to talk to you extemporaneously, I have to mentally reach for words, you can tell that means that things are deteriorating rapidly. Yes, there are people who are older than I am who probably do much better at certain things than I do. But you begin to deteriorate from the moment you are born. In the beginning, you progress more rapidly than you deteriorate, so you don't really see it or feel it. But eventually, when you get to a certain point, you mentally stop growing organically. Yeah, you can grow your brain by reading and being active and all that sort of stuff, and I do that. I do that a lot, but eventually, somehow, all of that will catch up with you, and the deterioration will begin if it has not begun already. My ability to communicate, which I've gotten jobs that I probably would not have been able to get because of the fact that I am able to communicate. I can't do that anymore, or not as well as I used to. I can't move as well as I used to. I used to be able to jump up from a seat and go sprinting down the hall. Now I can't do that. I have to struggle just to pick myself up out of a seat and go several feet to the restroom. I used to be up in the morning, Johnny on the spot. Now it's like I'm looking ahead. We eventually all get old. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to believe it. Eventually, we all get old. Eventually, we all die. And it concerns me a little bit. It concerns me on a lot of levels. For my own personal situation. Getting older means that there are a lot of things I can't do, a lot of things I can't move, many jobs I cannot take if I were able to work. And I'm getting a red light that says that this is being unstable. So I'm going to have to cut this off right now because I don't know if you're getting what we're doing. I don't know. I'm not getting any feedback. I'm just being redone to make here. I have become very convinced that there are some jobs that young people can't and should not do. There are jobs that people in the middle cannot and should not do. And there are jobs that people at a certain age, after a certain age, they should not be doing. And one of them is running this country. Now, I put what I'm about to say up, and I got a lot of anger, especially from friends of mine. I don't know why I tagged them for this because I knew I probably was going to get blasted, and I was, righteously so. But we need an amendment that would fix up a lot of things in terms of this election. We should not have to go through what we have been going through for the past 2 years again. And one of those things just happens to be, the fact that we have a whole lot of people who are at advanced ages and they want to run a country. Joe Biden could very well be 80 years of age by his second term. By the end of her second term, President Warren could probably be 77, 78. Our current president right now is the oldest man to ever have taken the oath of office for the president of the United States. And then here comes Bernie, who may very well be 80 by the time he becomes president if he's elected. And all of this, anyone can do anything in this world, bunch of rubbish. Wasn't even 55 when he left office. Wasn't even 55. Then again, W wasn't 60 himself. And I know a lot of people bring up Reagan, but Reagan was starting to work through the journey through Alzheimer's disease by the end of his term. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe age really doesn't matter, but apparently it does. No, that was not a critic. No, that was not a critic. But I would like to see an amendment to the Constitution that not only sets up additional uh, requirements for becoming President of the United States, but also sets up age limits. That, you know, if you're over a certain age, maybe you should not go for being president initially. Now, if you've already been president, you're going for the second term. Sky's the limit. But if you're running for president, I think that you should be a person who is a vital person. And again, I know there will be people who are going to yell and scream, and that's all right. I could care less at this particular point. But as I was debating with the person who probably by the end of this audio tape may be my former best friend in the whole world, there was something that that person said that really is the crux to all of this, not just the age of a president, but all of this. That person said, we need to save the country, and if it takes a centenarian to do it, someone who's 100 or older, if it takes a centenarian to save the country, so be it. And in that one sentence is everything that is wrong with this country right now. There is no savior that will come and help us. There is no savior. Someone will not be coming down the street, a white knight in a white steed with a staff and point to the problem, and it suddenly either disappears or turns into gleaming white laundry. We now know what the Ajax White Knight now. We are in peril, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing that we can't do is keep looking for white knights to save us. This world is a problem that we all created. I created it, you created it, everyone created it. You perpetuate it, we perpetuate it by our thought processes and our beliefs and our thinking that we know that all we need is that one person. Like FDR. FDR was going to save us. The problem is that FDR was part of a grander solution. FDR was not going to save us from the Depression. Now, there's some people who say the person who saved us from the Depression was whoever gave those Japanese flyers the orders to bomb Pearl Harbor. But saving a country is a joint venture. It would be nice to have a leader who will say, go forth and conquer, or whatever. But people are the ones who go forth and conquer. The president now says go forth and conquer in a nice, comfortable bunker somewhere where no one sees him. The only people who are going to save ourselves from ourselves are ourselves. You don't need, for instance, in terms, because this is the big weekend of climate change protests, you don't need to sign something to do something about climate change. You have to make the decision to do something yourself. Has to do that. Now, if no one does it, then we deserve what we're going to get. We deserve, hell, we really deserve Donald Trump. We deserve him. Our prejudices and our timidity and our stupid beliefs have gotten us to this point. We are responsible for Donald Trump, and we are the people who should do something about him. We're the ones. No, I would rather the person who would the pulse. That's my preference. If you want, I've realized that I can't stop anybody from doing that. I also believe that I cannot get you to do something that you need to do. I have no viewers right now. I'm not going to have any viewers when I post this thing up on other social media. I'm not going to have those people. A lot of people I don't have boobies. I don't have the thing that attracts, but I'm going to keep on talking. As we look into the mire, maybe somebody will turn on something and he'll or she will hear this and say, yeah, he's saying something that would have made sense if we ever, listened to it. We are the solution. We are our own savior. Unless you're looking for Aunt Harriet or crazy Uncle Joe or even crazier grandpa to save you, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. We need to save ourselves. And that's basically the main crux of all this. We need to save ourselves. We need to start doing that as soon as humanly possible. And so ends this rant. I will talk again. I hope you can join me.